Hello and welcome back guys to yet another video on InfoTrack TV. My name is Gerald Hoong, and this time I'm going to talk about what's new in SQL Server 2017. Now, as of the time that this video was being created, SQL Server 2019 is still in CTP 3.2 preview, which is as of July 2019. So I was thinking of not doing a video about 2019. Wait until Microsoft were to release officially general availability of SQL Server 2019. Well, you can expect another video from there. Alright, so anyway, all the courses currently by Microsoft Learning, it's already updated to SQL Server 2017. So in this video, I won't be pushing so hard on the courses because you can actually browse through some other courses, video about the courses one by one through InfoTrack's website or even in YouTube. So anyway, let's get down to it about just the product information on SQL Server 2017. Now, as you know, 2017, right, okay, is an exciting year for SQL Server, and in history, this is the first time that SQL Server introduced support for Linux. Now, the reason why Microsoft came out with the 2017 release, right, it's primarily because of SQL Server for Linux. So they somehow want to pull that strings together, right, okay, to release also a 2017 for Windows. So most of the time, okay, certain features that I mentioned here, okay, would be available for Linux as well. All right. So anyway, let's get down to business, and I'm just going to talk about first thing first, a little bit about the database engine enhancements. Okay, of course, as a DBA, you would be very much concerned about how your database performances would be, as well as the server load performances. Well, there is a new automatic database tuning options available through the database engine. So this is dynamically updating itself and detecting any performance bottlenecks, and they will come up with automatic suggestions for you to fix them. So this is actually a cool feature, and it will definitely ease a lot of a DBA's job. Number two, there will be, of course, a new graph database capabilities introduced into the database engine. And pretty much a lot of these things are still being introduced in this version 2017, but you will see much more updates being supported in the new 2019. So just stay tuned for that. And of course, since in-memory support of the database OLTP performance, right, has been introduced in version 2016, you can see there's just some minor enhancements to in-memory support. And of course, they have added a native JSON function support for part of the in-memory capabilities as well. And of course, there's a new bulk access support, which is an option to allow you to read Azure blob storage files. So as you know, since version 2014, which has minor, and they started to have an Azure support, but pretty much in SQL 2016 is where they extended their length, right, to cover a lot of options to be able to operate with any SQL Server on Azure features, be it is going to be an Azure SQL database or a SQL Server VM running on Azure. So that would be roughly the database engine enhancements. Well, for SSAS enhancements, okay, for SQL Server integration services, of course, SQL Server on Linux, okay, has now support running of SSAS packages, but through a command line, because as you know, Linux is pretty much on command line based. And of course, you are now able to scale out an SSAS package running to make it easier for you to run an SSAS package across multiple devices or machines. So that's the feature, what they call it as a scale out SSAS. And of course, one of the connection manager that they support right now is the OData feed connection that supports native connectivity to Dynamics AX and Dynamics CRM Online. So you're not able to have either a source or a destination that you connect through your data flow, right, that connects to either Dynamics AX or Dynamics CRM Online. So that's on the part of SSIS. Now for SSAS enhancements, okay, so what we're going to look at here will be, today they are no longer the multi-dimensional model as the default. So when you install your SQL Server, when you choose to install SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services, the default model will be tabular model. Now this is in accordance with the support for Power BI, whereby since the days of Power Pivot in Excel, everything is tabular. So they make the use of MDX, to query from a cube, from a multidimensional model. It is a bit harder when in a tabular model, all you need is just understanding of DAX queries. So they make DAX and M language query support as well as one of the new get data sources optimized for especially Power BI and also for direct query connectivity, that supports both M language queries as well as your DAX. And speaking of DAX, they do have a new DAX editor built into your SQL Server data tools, which is essentially Visual Studio. And of course, SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Services. Now, today, SSRS for version 2017, you no longer install that component part of your SQL Server setup. Now, they have actually taken out that SSRS component and make it available through Microsoft Download Center. So you just head on straight to the Download Center and download SSRS separately and install it separately. Okay? And today, SSRS, when you create a data set, instead of just able to support SQL queries or MDX, they do support DAX queries as well, right? So this is fairly simple because since SSAS level, they support tabular model. Of course, building a report in SSRS, they do support writing DAX queries. And of course, those of you who have understood that in SQL Server 2016, when they launched SQL Server R services, right? Today in 2017, they have updated that component and they rename it to SQL Server Machine Learning Services, right? Or we just call it SQL Server MLS. Now, formerly this is of course known as R services. Now, the reason why they no longer call it R services, because the new machine learning services, they don't just support R scripts, but they also support Python scripts. So you're now able to run both R and Python scripts together, okay? And of course, they also offer you an option. Let's say you do not have SQL Server. Without SQL Server, you can also install a standalone Microsoft Machine Learning Server, right, which allows you to run R or Python scripts independently without having to rely on SQL Server, right? So, well, I've actually outlined to you all the major new stuffs, okay, that you can expect currently in SQL Server 2017. Now, especially on the machine learning part, right, okay, you don't expect a special bred course from SQL Server, right, for machine learning. But you expect an update coming soon because the current course, right, that's still talking about analyzing big data with SQL Server R services, I do expect a newly updated course available soon, which is called Machine Learning Services. Now, there is one Machine Learning Services component part of Azure. Now, that is primarily not part of SQL Server, so please do not confuse yourself, okay? Please do not misunderstand, because Azure Machine Learning is the component that runs on Azure, on the cloud, whereas this is a component that comes strictly from SQL Server. So there you go. I hope that I've given you a rough, even though it's not really a thorough insight, but at least on a surface level, what you can expect on what you can find in SQL Server 2017. Okay, so well, do contact any of the salesperson from InfoTrack if you were interested in any of the SQL Server courses, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys in the class soon. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you. Signing off, I'm Gerald Hoong again. Thank you.